In this video, we're working on a generator. So the problem with this one is that it decided in the middle of a thunderstorm to just shut itself off. I guess if I'm being completely honest, it's been complaining about being under speed every so often in the past few months, more like a year or so, but it wasn't consistent enough and it would still go through and run and do its exercise cycles. But now it no longer does that. And it starts up, tries to rev, stops, and reports under speed. So let's get into it and see what we got going on. So if I'm being totally honest, I've kind of already torn into this one and I have a really good idea of what's going on. Basically, there's this little guy here. It's got a little stepper motor that controls, based on the generator's input, how open or closed the throttle is. And I changed this part out only to discover that that wasn't the entire problem. In truth, this part, which is known as the mixer, has butterfly valves in them, which makes sense. Here you go, this area under here. These butterfly valves are controlled by the stepper motor. I'll put them together side by side so you can see how that works. So this guy mounts here, like so. This swings around like that, and this can sweep back and forth, which then allows it to open and close those butterfly valves. But what we realized when we started working on this little piece broke off of the shaft that runs through here. So during the actual thunderstorm event, we super glued it and it worked well enough to get the house back online, but it didn't allow enough control for the unit to be, or for the generator to be under any heavy load. So today we are going to replace this and change the oil to our summer oil, and hopefully everything should be good. Something I do appreciate and did not know was that the new unit would come with the choke pre-installed. So this is a solenoid that's controlling the choke, and I thought I was going to have to take out this assembly and then put it in the new unit, but I don't have to. The new unit already has it installed. All I got to do is make that connection. Installing this is pretty straightforward. On the underside, we have these two tubes that connect to the fuel coming from the regulators. This is where the mixed fuel gets sucked into the pistons. So to get this on there, first you have to take off the valve covers because you have to be able to slide this on there like that. As you can see, this has been taken off already. But what is nice, oh, and that's also why I ordered new gaskets, because when I took these off, I noticed that the old gaskets look like they could use replacing. It's a little worn around the top edge there. And that's probably just the parts that were exposed. So once we get the unit running, I'll take these valve covers back off and replace these gaskets. So with the covers removed, now we can slide this on to go into these tubes. Just to kind of illustrate that, these are hard metal. These are fixed. We can't bend those, but we can bend the fuel supplies, which we will do to make our job a little easier. But before I put this in, I just realized it'd be a lot easier if I go ahead and install this. So let's go ahead and do that first. Okay, this will make a lot more sense now when you see these two components come together. So the way that this is designed to fit onto here is like so. And the way you would normally install it without having to take out the entire air mixer is you start by putting your bolt on the side. So this would be fixed in the generator. You start your side bolt right here. Oh, it's like, why is this not wanting to cooperate? There we go. There we go. Got it. Go get the socket. There we go. Tighten that up a bit. Like that. And then you would pivot once you get this snug. You keep it pivoted down. And now that we've got the stepper motor installed, we'll install the air mixer, because all of this assembly would be hidden behind this part of the motor. So you set it down like so. And line it up. There's another tube back here that needs to line up that I'm paying attention to as well. Like so. There we go. I can connect that vacuum tube. Make sure that lines up correctly. Yep. Let me route my wire, because I realize my wires are all trying to go under the tubes, and I do not want that. I prefer these wires sitting on top. And back here, connect the intake like so. All right. Now, everything but the fuel line is connected, and I will connect those once I get a couple bolts into the mixer housing. All right, very good. I'll hold that in place. Now, I'm going to put this back on, so that way nothing gets dropped in there. So that's definitely something I do not want. Got the screws in there. Now I'm going to just snug these up. I just want to make sure they're nice and tight, so that way no air gets in there during our testing. I'll look up the actual torque specs on these when I go to replace the gaskets. Perfect. Now, for the final bolts on the mixer. Okay, perfect. Now with the smaller ratchet set, get these bolts tightened down. The ridges on the mixer housing make it difficult to turn them by hand. And these again, just snug because I'm securing plastic to metal. Not really looking to over tighten these. That's an example of the ridge I was talking about. There we go. And get this one back here tightened down. Perfect. Okay. While we're here, let's go ahead and get the choke solenoid connected. There's a convenient little path here to route that out. And this is where that routes to. There we go. Perfect. Now, while I'm here, I'm going to get these fuel lines reconnected. There's the fuel lines I was telling you about. So what's nice is that you can actually reach around on the other side of this wall and push them on there. But as you can see, there's a nice clamp here. So I'm going to get some pliers, open that clamp up, move it back to be able to get it over that nipple. There we go. Perfect. Perfect. Now, there's one underneath here that you guys cannot see. This is the second fuel line under here. It's shiny. You can see it right there. So I'm going to, from this side, see my hand on this side, I'm going to manipulate the tube over the nipple to make sure that it sits on there really well and has a good seal. Just like that. Now, move those clamps back over to where they belong, and we'll be able to give it a test start. There we go. Perfect. I like it. All right. Make sure that one is actually over. I'm going to turn on the fuel and see if we can get it started. Flipping it into manual. was expected. There hasn't been any fuel in the line for a while. What I keep forgetting to watch for is if this solenoid is swinging the stepper motor is swinging back and forth. I'm not seeing it swing. I'm going to make sure that this is connected and that pulling on these wires didn't accidentally disconnect this. So I just manually reset the stepper motor's position. I want to see if it works this time. Moving that solenoid, the solenoid did move itself back into the open position. So this is working correctly and it is controlling the throttle. I'm going to try putting the air filter back on and see if maybe there's too much air or it can't get the right rich enough mix with all of this being open. I'm starting to smell gas. Here. I can smell gas, so I think it's getting gas. Oh! I was like, no, did I put this on backwards? I did not. Check the oil, make sure it has oil. So I remembered something. I believe that the fuel regulator is controlled by the vacuum. And this little hose under here, the one that goes here into the air mixer, was not pushed up all the way. So let's give it another try. I'm gonna check the oil because it sounds like it's hitting really hard, and I don't understand that. I took a quick second to look at the old air mixer to see if maybe there was something in this assembly that needed to be moved over, and I happened to notice this. NG, natural gas, LP, propane. And I was like, what is it pointing to? On the side is a plug, but then I realized that this little thing moves. So let's get that air filter off and see if maybe we need to change the position of that. All right. All right. So this is the one installed. Natural gas in, propane out. Goodness, it doesn't want to move. Let me get a screwdriver and see if I can push that over a bit better. Okay, that's out. For propane, push it back in for natural gas. Okay, that time I was able to hear it. Okay, let's proceed with the oil change. No, thing. There we go. Yeah, look at the all right. That good thing. Two upwards. Oh. Okay, we got an oil change. Let's see if we can get some airflow or get it started. Okay, I can definitely hear gas flowing now. That's great. That means that the solenoid is open and that the fuel regulators are sending fuel. My new theory is that the rod needs to be adjusted because I'm looking here at the limiter on the throttle and it's nowhere near max open. So I'm wondering is that this needs to be open further. So I'm going to test that theory by taking the stepper rod off and manually pushing it further forward. There is where that linkage, the stepper rod is that links it to the throttle. So you just take a screwdriver and you put it on the back side of the little plastic piece and twist. And in theory, it should pop right off. There we go. Now, that'll allow me to manually control it and push it further in to open the throttle a bit further and see if that gets the, because now it's limited. Now it's at its limit to see if the engine will start. So let's give that a try. Okay, this is with the linkage rod loose and pushed all the way to the right. So I don't think that made a difference. What I don't understand is it's like it's almost catching. That time it almost caught. We'll give it one more go. It's like every time it goes to stop, it starts to catch. Over crank, yep. Okay. Well, that nixes that theory. This back on the little throttle body. There we go. Okay, that's back on. Oh, there is a recess for the filter there. I was wondering. Put that back on, let's see if it makes a difference. I don't think it will, but I know that sometimes a vacuum is required for these things to run. And this engine is very cold, so maybe that vacuum is necessary for the control valve to open up enough for it to run. So let's see. I want to see if it sounds different. Nope. Make sure that's seated. Make sure that's seated. Okay. At this point, I'm kind of at a loss of what to look for. The only other thought I had is get a little starter fluid and spray it in there and see if it lights right up. Maybe I'll go try that. Because it might be a throttle issue or a fuel mixture issue or a fuel supply issue, but at least that would eliminate spark and compression. Let's give that a try. Okay guys, I think I figured out the problem. Again, old assembly. Triple checked it to make sure that I hadn't forgotten something. Notice this. Seals. They go from the mixer to the valve body. Let's get those installed. That probably wouldn't make a huge difference. Well, time of the day where you have to put on sun protection. Not looking to get a sunburn. There's enough flexibility in the fuel lines, I'm hoping to not have to take those off as well. No, too small. Thought it would work. we go. Got all of those off. Take these two guys off, set them face down. So, now, see if we can get our gaskets in there. Let's see if we can get this up. Let's connect that vacuum tube back here. Get it up. There we go, beautiful. Now, I don't know if it's better to put these in there or put them on the actual pipe itself. Oh, that's dirty. Let me go clean that. All right, there's our second one. Pop that in place, like so. Make sure it's well seated. Yep, both of those are well seated. Now, come like that. And yeah, this is what I remember, is that it's somewhat temperamental trying to get it back on there. But you can do it. You just have to be patient. Here we go. Oh, sorry, blocking your view. Oh. Nope, not wanting to see. Oh, that's because this one came out. Let's try putting it on the pipe and fitting it onto the housing onto that. Let's see if that works better. Down. Nope, that's actually worse. Sorry about knocking you off the tripod there, but it's actually worse because what's happening is it's pushing it further in. Let me see if I can show you. Not sure if you can see that, but basically as I'm pushing the housing on, the gasket is offset now on the tube, so I'm going to go back to the original approach of putting it in the housing first. Take it off, put them in, like so. Like so. Okay. There must be some slight misalignment that is preventing it from wanting to go and seat correctly. But I can't determine what that misalignment is. Like, what is it that's blocking the advancement of it this way? Maybe that's just the gaskets themselves. I'm going to take another look underneath just to make sure that everything is seated correctly. Yep, everything looks good. I'm trying to figure out how I can see on the back side here to make sure that that is set up as it should, seating as it should. Sorry, I'm getting in your way, but kind of important that I see. Really wish I could see this, the one on this side, to see how well it is fitting. I have a view here. I do have a view there. Okay. Looks like I need to go get my mirror so I can look and make sure this side is seating correctly, this back side. Because I can see that the forward one isn't. Oh, I see. So neither one of them are seating correctly. It's almost like it's too high to seat correctly. I mean, it's getting on there, like it's seating on there really well. But something is definitely preventing it because it's not wanting to line up with its holes at all. Maybe I'll get my mirror and see on the other side. Maybe there's something going on there. All right, got my automotive mirror here so I can look in there and see what it's doing. Let's see. There's the side of the housing. There we go. All right. No, I can clearly see that it is well seated. Like it's around the hose. Same as on this side, it's not collapsed or anything. Yeah. See if I can get a different angle on that. There we go, that's a good one. Yep. I can see it all around. It's seating correctly, just like on this side. So maybe I just need to tighten up that maybe I just need to bolt it in place, because I can't find any reason why it doesn't want to go where it should go. Because that will be mounted in place right there. Just worried I'm missing something obvious. And I don't see anything. Yeah, that seems like it's just putting a pressure on those tubes. Because they're seated right, I can see them. Yep. Okay, let's get the bolts back in. See if it'll work. want to thread them in, make sure I can get them seated before I go through and tighten them all down. All right, there we go. Bolts are in place. Let me connect this vacuum tube before I forget. Get these valve covers on. Okay, they are directional. I was just making sure. There we go. Little piece of trash trying to sneak its way in. There we go. Got him out. There we go. There we go. There we go. Juice snugging it up. we go. Double check this. Beautiful. Let's get these tools off. Yep. Okay. Tighten and snug those down in a minute. There we go. Okay. Let's get this out of the way. Step back and see if it starts. Oh, turn on the fuel. Fuel is on. All right, I'll let it run for a minute. I'll check the oil here, make sure there's enough now that there's some in the filter. If not, I'll top it off right quick. Then we're gonna put this under load. Oh yeah, plenty of oil. Very good. Very good. Okay, I'm gonna turn this back on. And then I'm going to go put it under load, and we'll see how well it does. I'm also going to check the engine speed, make sure it's throttling correctly. All right, and like that, we're back off the generator and on shore power. It did a wonderful job and maintained as much load as I could throw at it. It kept the frequency right, the RPMs were great. Everything did wonderfully. Gonna go shut it down now, and we'll get to those gaskets in another video. It's getting too hot right now, dangerously hot part of the day, and I don't want to keep working outside. Thanks for watching. If you think this video is interesting and you liked it, please hit that like button. If you want more content like this, go ahead and subscribe. Stay grumpy, my friends.